Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and wow, I've had to wait for this project, and I'm getting it ready to start. We did preview this, and it's just taken a long time to get the replacement pieces and parts. But this is a reel that Chris sent in. This is the Shimano Calcutta 400. It's working. The problem is that we've got a stripped handle nut, which isn't holding tight. And it probably has something to do with the aftermarket handle installation. And what happened, from what I can tell, I picked the wrong one. What I can tell is that whether the handle is not installed properly or the handle is too thick, what happened is that the threads on the gear sleeve or shaft have stripped, as have the threads in the cap, and that cap will never hold. I am thinking that possibly this little washer here may be the cause. I want to see if this can go down further. Yeah, this one can go down further. So I think what happened here is that the washer was installed kind of backwards, if you will, because now I have more teeth on that. And what happened was, when this washer was put on here, there's a stop, and that raised the handle up. And that, with the small washer on the other side, gave you very limited thread area, got over tightened and got crunched. So we're going to see if we can't make that right. And Chris, who owns the reel, had asked me could I do an upgrade on the drag washers. So I went to smoothdrag.com. Dawn over at Smooth Drag is a wonderful person, and they have the Carbon Tex washers for this reel. So we're going to do both of those, as well as show you how to service it. But before I get started, I want to take a moment here to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. To those of you that have subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate your subscription and also what you bring to the channel. The channel conversations that we have in the forums is wonderful. You do make the channel what it is, and I thank you for that. Well, I'm going to start by just taking off the pieces and parts. We already did that. I guess maybe I shouldn't even want to confuse those two pieces. But here's our shaft. Here's our new nut cap. Here's our drag washers. So how do we put them on? Well, that's what we'll show you today. And today I'm working on a Shimano Calcutta. It's a round bait caster, typically used in deep water. A lot of times it finds its way in the ocean, but it can be used in the Great Lakes or any deep lakes for that matter. It can be used for trolling. It does have the level line feature on the reel, which a lot of folks enjoy. And well, it's got a nice setup to it all around. So we'll show you the interior workings on this, because, well, we're going to have to take some of this stuff apart to get there. First thing I do is remove the exterior pieces. That is your star adjuster. Then we have, I believe it's 3 or 4 of these tension washers. Then there's a bearing shield washer, or sleeve washer. Sleeve washer, and then the bearing shield washer, or the sleeve washer number 2. And this is a good place to tell you to take pictures along the way. There's actually 2 of these. And use those pictures as reference points. Here's your bearing that came out, and now we're clear in that hole. So if you take the pictures are going to be the orientations and the sequences that you took the pieces and parts out. That's going to help you with the overall reassembly should you get stuck. Okay, we're going to need to remove that. That holds the back plate together. Just checking. Go carefully. There's no rush. You don't win anything for speed. Accuracy is more important. I'm going to remove the side plate screws now. So the 400 is the wider version of the Calcuttas. We have two of those. We have one down here. I couldn't get the other one out. It'll probably fall out as I open this up. Okay, short, long. This one should come out, I think. That would also, yeah, be long. So we have the two long ones where it's the raised pillars and the short one behind it. When I take those out, they go into a parts tray. And I recommend that you have a system for dealing with the parts that you remove from the reel. Let's see if we can get this off now. I think I have to remove the trip lever here. That seems to be where the resistance is. Let's walk that off and see if that makes the difference. Yeah. Alright, so those of you that have this reel, note that you need to remove your free spool release trip lever to get the case off. Here comes the case. We have a ball bearing underneath and a relatively clean case throughout. This is your sleeve for your anti-reverse clutch. And what we got to get to is your gear shaft. What we will do, however, is we're going to take the rest of the moving parts off of this. That includes the two springs for the yoke. And you would do this if you were servicing the wheel. Now we can move up and out on the gear stack. And these things usually, yeah, I can see why you wanted to have the drag washers replaced. I don't know if these are carbon or not. I generally wear the protective glove on the one hand, but looks like this one got me anyway. And sometimes you might need an assist with the pliers to pull these off. Just looking for the next piece. What happens is these get over tightened and then they have a tendency to just jam. And then this last one always, the gear just has this certain fit to it. So these are always tight, but if you just, there you go, wiggle it, it will come up and out. And these are the drag washers we will be replacing. We have our click ratchet, which is going to be a kickback for your free spool. Note that we have this set up here for the main gear. That's actually a click. And now we have two screws here that are holding the post on, and I'm also looking very carefully at a spring here that's holding that click ratchet. This is your click ratchet. I may have called that the free spool release before. This is your click ratchet. It's going to go here. It's actually a lock for your line guide. So I'm not sure where that screw, that spring that holds that together is anchored. So be very careful as you do this. I don't want to start knocking pieces around now to find out that you dislodged something that you had no idea where it went. I suspect there's a little stud on the other side of this, but suspicions don't fix reels. Kind of knowledge and plans do. Alright, this should lift up and out. There you go. That's the spring location if you were curious about that. Alright, time to take those two screws, which are easily lost, but those are in my parts tray. Pull the pinion gear out so that we can service that. This reel is clean inside, but I do see a few spots of dirt in here, and I'm not going to remove the trip lever mechanisms. So I'm going to use a little bit of penetrating oil as a cleaner and a cotton swab, this case it's a Q-tip. I can actually say Q-tip without getting in trouble by the Q-tip police. And just wipe off any excess dirt or debris that you may find. Okay, here's our new gear post assembly. First thing we want to do is make sure that it lines up. If it doesn't line up, I'll be waiting again. It appears to be the same one. Well, as I'm doing this, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you want to leave those questions in the comment section, I will be happy to answer those for you. I'll do my best to try and keep you moving along. And, well, if I don't know the answer, I'll try and point you. Okay, this appears to be the same one. Famous last words that it is the same one, and then you find out it's a left thread, not a right thread, or some other crazy things happen from time to time. We're going to remove the bearing. There's an E-clip here that allows you to do that. I'm just going to use a small screwdriver to pry that out. At least I'm going to attempt to use a small screwdriver to pry that out. What's happening is the E-clip is getting caught on the rim of the bearing. Okay, we got that off. That'll go in the parts tray, because if you use those E-clips, well, you got a waiting period there. And we should have a small washer behind that. Actually, it looks like we have two of them. And we have the bearing, and we have the mount, and we have our shaft. So before I get too far down the road, get that mount right back on there so I don't lose the orientation. Bearing, two small clips. And I guess I can put some oil in that bearing while we have this open. Two small washers that go before the E-clip gets seated. The E-clip. And I suspect I'm going to need pliers for an assist on this. Sometimes you can do it by hand. I almost got it by hand. Sometimes you need that assist. Okay, well, I hear a doorbell ringing. I'm going to stop. I will be right back. Okay, we're back, and it's a good time to reinforce the thought of taking pictures along the way, because if you don't take the pictures and you have to walk away for a moment or two or more, then, well, you may have forgotten where you were in this, and that could prove disastrous later on. All right, so we put this back together again. Let's go ahead and install this. So the first thing you got to remember is where the wings went. Then you're going to go to your parts tray. Find those two very small screws. And those of you that know me and small screws know this is going to be an adventure. So I'm going to grab a micro driver here. Put a little bit of grease onto the tip of that to hold it. See if we can't get successful. I love my Klein's tool screw starter for the flatheads. Just haven't been able to find anything for these Phillips heads that works as well. Alright, I don't have this hole aligned here. I was asked recently what's my indispensable tools. I think the Harbor Freight straight awl that I use as a pick. They come in that variety pack, but I only use the one. And I think that's probably the best one, one of the best of the indispensables. Okay, while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and put the pawl back in. Before we put that pawl in, we need to service it. There's a yoke here. I said pawl, I meant pinion gear. Clean the carrier out, the yoke. Find the piece that has the ramped slots. Those face in. Find the slot on the pinion gear that faces in. Check your pinion gear to make sure all of your teeth are uniform and straight, that they're not cracked or chipped or broken in any way. You'd notice that right away when you're cranking if you had a stutter. Okay, good on that. And then the ramp side goes down, the slot side goes in, and the carrier goes on the two posts here. Okay, before we move much further then, let's put that click ratchet back on. You're going to notice that that click ratchet has a hole in it, and that's where that little point lodges. So make sure that you mesh the point on the ratchet with the point so that it sneaks through like that, and that's going to bang against these little perforations in the center here. That's going to make a click click noise when you're free spooling. Okay, this can come over now, and that meshes in. Make sure that it snaps all the way down. We're not set yet. This has got an interesting little snap to it. I think what's happening here is that secondary stud. And we got two things going on. That little rocket spring came out. So that's got to be reset. And there's a stud here on this back plate that goes into the hole in the main gear. Let's try putting that back on again then. There you go. Now we're tight. Okay. Lessons learned here. If you find that something doesn't feel right, look right, or seem right, stop. Don't force anything. And then pick up the assembly afterwards. 3 drag washers. This is a 6 drag washer system. One has the big hole in it. The other 2 are flat. These are kind of worn and stuck together. So yeah, they needed to be replaced. These are Carbon Tex again. One side is going to have a fine ridge to it. The other one is going to have a more coarse type of a cross hatching. Doesn't matter which side you put down or up. It will have the same effect on there. Okay. And you can see this one was brittle even. This one was broken. It probably had to do with the over tightening of these. Alright, let's put these back in. The wide one goes first, and you're going to notice how it kind of sits over that hump in the main gear. Interesting to note, you have a lot more space in the main gear than you do have drag washer. I suspect that Shimano didn't want to change their washers too much. Okay. First one is the round keyed washer. Second one goes in. Now we're looking for the one that has the points. This is called the eared washer. And the eared washer fits down when turned and sits into the 2 grooves in that slot. Third washer. Now you're looking for the one that has the inserts or the extra little tag in there. because that tag end is going to hold the two extensions from this inner gear sleeve. Go ahead and put that back on. We have a ball bearing in the back end of the case here. If we didn't oil it already, we're going to oil it now. You do not oil the anti-reverse clutch, simply clean it out, make sure it's free of debris. We can bring this whole assembly over now and get it ready for install as soon as we put those two little springs on for the pinion gear. Those of you that know me know that I forget these from time to time. That's where a parts tray actually helps. Alright, take your case, line it up, bring it over, make sure it sits down nice and free and flush all around, and we can put those two long screws and a short screw in. We said the two long screws go on the raised portion of this, and the short screw goes on the top in the center on the more narrow portion. Okay, just want to close this up then. And then we have the thumb screw that's going to tighten that one down. And we can take a moment here to install the rest of this. We have a small bearing washer that goes on. I'm going to put the bearing on. I think I oiled that, but just in case I didn't. My oil bearings, I don't grease them. Put that onto this side. And another small bearing washer which goes on the top side. And if we were paying attention, or if we weren't paying attention, want to go to our pictures, we have a flat washer that goes next. And we have these series. Most of the time there's 4, but this one just seems to have 3. Yeah, there's none in the case here. So they're concave. They have a bow in them. I put the both side facing up on the first, down on the second, up on the third. And then we have our star adjuster, which will go on next. Hopefully, next thing we want to do is put that little swing arm on for the oven line lock. Go to your parts tray and get that piece. So we primarily did this to show you how to replace that broken part. Showed you the internal workings of it as well, gave you an idea about cleaning. Also showed you how to replace and upgrade the drag system. Okay, tighten that down. Check your lock. Give it a turn. Turns nice and free and easy. Let's go back now with this. I want to see I think what happened with this was these got reversed. I believe this one looks like it has a longer indentation than the other. It might just be my eyes. I want to see if this one's going to come all the way down here. Yeah, that's going to sit all the way down. So we can take the aftermarket handle, which is a Gamexus handle, which is a nice handle. Our new cap. Place that in. No, I think we have to take this Gamexus handle, I think we need to take that all the way out. Give us the extra. And actually, I put the thick washer in here. I'm going to put the thin washer in here. See if that makes a difference. I want to maximize the amount of threads I can get on that cap nut so that this doesn't strip again. When you do this, do it by hand. You don't want to cross thread. There we go. I think we're good. So Chris, I initially told you I probably would shy away from that handle, but I think the answer really is that the thing was mis-set up. We have plenty of thread capacity, we have plenty of adjustment capacity on the side, so let's give that a test. Spins nice and free and easy. You have a spool adjuster here if you want to adjust the speed of the spool. Release works. This one's ready to go fishing again. Well, that was an interesting little how do we fix a couple of problems here. We had two problems that we needed to repair. One of them, Chris was right in noting that the drags weren't working, and when we opened it up we found out we have a cracked one here and well-worn ones, so those will go back. We found that this washer for the aftermarket handle was blocking the ability to put this down low enough so that your handle cap nut could screw on tight and avoid what did happen here, and that the cap and the post did get cross-stripped, and you're unable to tighten it. Lessons learned. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. This reel's ready to go fishing. I want to take a moment to thank our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody involved in our public safety and keeping us well. I want to wish everybody great times on the water, fun and friendship with those you fish with, and a good catch while you're at it. Keep your reels ready to go. They'll service you well when you're out on the water, and you'll have a fun time while doing the service of those reels. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.